Today's story begins with a young man from Virginia, an extraordinary real-life tale of someone who went to World War II, earned honor, and became a hero without taking a single life. Desmond grew up in a troubled household. His father, a World War I veteran, struggled with trauma and alcohol. Violence was always near Desmond, both outside and inside his home. But despite this chaos, he held on to one powerful belief: life was sacred. That belief shaped him, sometimes painfully, sometimes beautifully, and it stayed with him as he became a young adult. When World War II broke out, Desmond felt something inside him calling. He wanted to help. He wanted to serve his country. But he also knew he could never take another person's life. So he made a decision many found impossible to understand. He would join the army as a combat medic, refusing to carry a gun. From the moment he arrived in boot camp, Desmond was different. His fellow soldiers mocked him. His superiors pressured him. They called him a coward, a burden, even a danger to the entire unit. They believed a soldier without a weapon was a liability, someone who couldn't be trusted when things went bad. But Desmond wasn't weak. He wasn't afraid. He simply believed that saving lives was his purpose. No matter how much abuse he took, he wouldn't give up. Even when the army tried to discharge him for refusing to handle a rifle, he stood his ground. He fought, not with fists or bullets, but with conviction, and eventually won the right to serve, exactly as he believed he should. Soon enough, Desmond and his unit were sent into one of the most brutal battlefields of the Pacific, Hacksaw Ridge, a deadly cliff overlooking Okinawa. Soldiers climbed cargo nets straight into hell, into machine gun fire, explosions, smoke, and screams. Every attempt to take the ridge ended in massive casualties. Many wondered if anyone could survive up there. On their first assault, Desmond's unit faced unimaginable horror. Soldiers were shredded by artillery. Men he had trained with, laughed with, were now lying helpless in the dirt. When the order to retreat was given, everyone who could still move climbed back down the cliff to safety. But Desmond stayed. All around him were wounded men, friends, strangers, lives hanging by a thread. And Desmond knew he couldn't leave them behind. So, alone on that battlefield, he began a mission that defied every human limit. He crawled through mud and smoke, dragged the injured to the cliff's edge, tied them to a rope, and lowered them, one by one, down the steep face of Hacksaw Ridge. Every trip was a gamble with death. Enemy soldiers were everywhere. Bullets sliced past him, but he didn't stop. Each time he finished lowering a wounded soldier to safety, he whispered the same quiet prayer: "Lord, help me get one more." Hours passed, night fell. The ridge was all but silent, except for Desmond's footsteps. By the time his body finally gave out, Desmond Doss had saved 75 men on his own. 75 lives, rescued without ever firing a single shot. His fellow soldiers, who once mocked him, now looked at him with awe. Word of his actions spread through the entire military. He had done something almost impossible to understand. He had fought the war by refusing to harm anyone. He had shown that courage could look different, that heroism didn't always need a weapon. For his unbelievable bravery, Desmond Doss became the first conscientious objector in American history to receive the Medal of Honor. But for Desmond, medals were never the point. He simply did what he believed was right, and in doing so, changed history forever. Desmond Doss proved that even in war, where death surrounds every step, one man can choose life. One man can hold on to compassion, and one man can save the world for those he rescues. And before we end this story, Thank you for watching this video on Chronicast. We are Sarah and Hadi, and we truly appreciate you spending your time with us. If you enjoyed the story, stay with us for more inspiring narratives from history, cinema, and life. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.